Seems like it's never ending. And what do you say when your things turn away and you're all alone? Tell me, what do you feel when you're giving your all out? Seems like you can't make it through. Well, you just stand when there's nothing left to do. You just stand, watch the Lord. Our theme song this morning is Stand, Stand. What do you do but stand? Good morning. My name is Athena, and welcome to the Athena Show, when you speak and no one responds. That is the title for this morning. When you speak and no one responds. The discipline of Lent. We are in the season of Lent, and Lent is not loud. It is quiet. It is reflective. It is disciplined. So let me ask you something this morning. Have you ever spoken in a room and felt invisible? Have you ever spoken in a room and felt invisible? You said what you needed to be said, but you were clear, you were measured, and the room moved on like you were not there. No acknowledgement, no engagement, just silence. That silence can shake you because we are wired to respond to response. But Lent teaches something very different. Lent teaches restraint. Jesus stood before accusers and did not defend himself at every insult. And Isaiah 53 says, he was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. That is strength most people do not understand, not weakness, control. So this morning, I want you to understand something. When you speak and no one responds, that silence is information. Sometimes what you said made someone uncomfortable. Truth has weight. Sometimes the room does not yet recognize your authority. And sometimes the decision was already made before you walked in. But here's the Lent lesson this morning. You do not lose composure to prove your value. You do not raise your tone to increase your authority. You do not chase acknowledgement to confirm your worth. Lent is about dying to ego, dying to the need to be validated, dying to the urge to react. Because your flesh wants to say, excuse me, did you hear me? Your flesh wants to be like, did you hear my voice in this room? Your ego wants to repeat it louder. But discipline says, I have said what I needed to say. And then you sit back down in your spirit. You sit back down quietly in your spirit. Even Jesus, when questioned by Pilate, answered briefly. He did not perform for the room. He did not argue to convince people. He committed to people who are committed to misunderstanding him. There is maturity in knowing when to speak again and when to be still. And sometimes you calmly restate, I want to make sure my point was clear. And then you leave it there. Other times you document instead of debate. Here's the thing. Strategic silence is not weakness. Strategic silence is not weakness, it is control over your spirit. Proverbs says, "He who rules his spirit is greater than one who takes a city." I'm going to say that again. He who rules his spirit is greater than the one who takes a city. Ruling your spirit is greater than conquering territory. Having control over your spirit is greater than proving a point. Having control over your spirit is greater than getting out there and abusing out your neighbor, abusing out your friend. Sometimes having control of your spirit is what matters. It conquers the territory. So this morning, ask yourself, am I speaking for clarity or am I speaking for validation? Those are two different motives. If you were clear, composed, and truthful, then you did your part. The rest is not yours to carry. Your authority does not rise and fall based on who nods their head at your voice. Heaven records obedience, not applause. So today, practice in real time. When the room is quiet, stay steady. When acknowledgement is absent, stay grounded. When your ego wants to react, choose discipline. Because real power is quiet and composure is evidence of growth. That is First Light, and you have a steady day. See you